1st, 1999, and I've got Grammy Michaud here, and we're going to have her do a little talking about her life and stuff, and it'd be a nice little remembrance. And we're alone right here while the fellas and Kristen and Rose and Bob and Ray went deep sea fishing. So Grammy, you're in New Hampshire, and we're going to sit here and you're going to tell a little about your life, honey. What year you were born and where you were born and your parents and your
Well,
family.
that is a surprise visit today. I sure didn't expect to come back to New Hampshire again this year, but it's always a pleasure to come and visit my children. I I was born from a big family, 12 children in my family. My mother had 6 boys and 6 girls. That was pretty even. And then one boy died at 8 years old, and a little sister died at 10 months old. But then we stayed 9 children for years and years until I grown up. And then, well, I was 7 years old when the first in my family passed away. A sister that was only 20 years old. She had nice blonde hair, and she was so kind. I still remember her and miss her like. I liked her dearly. Anyway,
What about your parents, Grammy? What happened with your mother, your real mother?
my mother got sick and died the year after I was born, and she was in bed for a whole year. And then when she died, I was only 17 months old, and she left my father with 10 children and me, the baby, only 17 months old. Can you imagine?
No.
The poor man's a wonder he didn't crack up.
I know.
Anyway, 3.5 years after, my father remarried, and we had a very good stepmother, bless the good Lord. And she took care of us and sewed and cooked, and oh, she was really good to us. So we didn't really miss out, motherly.
Right.
But then we all grew up, and well,
How'd you get to the United States, Grammy?
uh, uh, when I first came up, I had a sister. My sister Laura had got married, and she was living in Barry, Vermont. And one time she got sick with thyroid. She had a thyroid operation, and I was 17 then, and I came up to take care of her.
Oh.
I stayed with her for a while, and then I never went back. I stayed, and then my parents, but I didn't tell you the part when I was only 17 months old. My mother died, and we were by ourselves with our father for a little while, but then one of my uncle and aunts took me and the brother just before me to take care of us for 6 months.
Oh.
And then my father said, no, I don't like that idea. I want to bring them up all together. So he came back and got us. And I remember when they said my uncle and my aunt wanted to adopt me because I was a baby.
Oh.
And my father didn't want to consent to that. He says, no, she's going to be brought up with her brothers and sisters. So anyway, when I was 3.5, my father met another nice woman and married her. And that woman, bless her heart, she was just like a real mother. Took us 10 kids. Can imagine, I always say my father must have been real lovable.
Yeah.
For somebody to take him in with 10 children, that must have been something. And besides, we were living in Canada on a farm then, and she was living in the United States.
Oh.
And she had to leave her country to come and live on the farm with my dad and us kids. But we all got used to her. She adopted us like her own children because she was a widow herself. Yeah. And she was a distant cousin of my real mother.
Oh my gosh, you're
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah.
Oh, that's quite a story, huh?
I know.
Yeah.
And she was lonesome at times, she says, because she missed
Her family.
yes, and the city life. She was used to live in a city and coming on a big farm when she didn't know nobody. That must have been lonesome.
It was a big transition
She
for her.
says she cried many times.
Oh boy. So she was a saint, wasn't she? Huh?
She
God.
was.
She was really quite a woman.
Yeah.
So as you grow up, and then you came to, like you said, you came to Vermont with Aunt Laura. How did you end up in Nashville? What happened? No, when you got married, I guess you met somebody from you were living in Manchester for a while. Did you live in Manchester?
Yes, for 2 years. After I came up United States, they take care of my sister, and I found some work and started working, and then my mother and father came back to the United States.
Oh, okay. Where did they move to?
They moved to Barrie first, and then to Manchester.
Oh, New Hampshire, huh?
Yeah.
Oh.
And
So
I worked in the mill there. Oh, we worked so hard in the mill.
No unions in those days, huh?
No. What I was doing, they called it winding.
Oh boy, yes.
It was those great big cones, and we had to take all little cones and put them all on pins, and tie. They kept going for a while, and then they'd break.
Huh.
And you have to run from one end of your frame to tying up for 8 hours, standing up all the time and run from.
Oh boy, talking of, no wonder you were always a little thin pickle, huh? You worked hard.
Oh yes, that was hard work. It was tiresome on your feet for 8 hours. And I was on the night shift from 3 to 11.
Oh boy.
And then I had to come home by myself at 11 o'clock at night, and I was scared.
Walking?
Yeah.
How far did you live from the mill?
Oh, I'm not sure, half a mile.
Still quite a bit. By yourself?
Oh, yeah.
Safe in those days, though, huh? Really? I mean, really?
Right.
I mean, it probably
But
was...
one time I had got real scared. One man, I thought the night before that it was that man that kept following me. And when I'd come to the house, I'd run upstairs. We live on the second floor. And after that, I took a new route.
Oh, that's awful.
I'd go far away from it, so if you was watching me, you wouldn't see me. Anyway, that was the end of that. And but then we got laid off from the mill. We were all closing all over.
What year? Do you remember what year, Grammy?
Well, let's see. I was 18. I had just turned 18. So I was born in 15. 30, it's about 32, 33.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, about that. Yeah. Oh, wow. And what did you do after that when you got laid off? Did you move any place or did you stay in Manchester or?
No, I went after that. We had some cousins that live in Amesbury, Mass.
Yeah.
And they said, well, we know a family that needs somebody to babysit two little girls. And so I moved from Manchester to Amesbury, Mass.
By yourself?
Well, those
Oh, the cousins. But
yeah.
you went by yourself from here, yeah?
Yeah.
Your only family, yeah?
And I did that for a while. And then when the mill started to close, there was no work. And so I went to Amesbury, Mass. And I lived there for 2 years, and then that's where I got married in Amesbury, Mass. in 1938.
Oh. Now, how did you meet your husband?
He was,
His name is Albert.
well, yes, his name was Albert Michaud, and they used to have a store, and he used to deliver a grocery to the cousin I was living with then at the time. And we fell in love and we got married 2 years after.
Yeah.
I got married in 38. And I had 5 children, 4 boys and 1 girl. The girl was the oldest, and she wanted a sister so bad. There was always another boy. One time she said, well, you must have had some girl at the hospital. Why didn't you switch with somebody?
That's cute, yeah.
And anyway, I got married and lived in Massachusetts there for a while. And then the children were growing up, and I left Manchester and moved to Amesbury, Mass. Yeah, I said that. And that's how life progressed. But I wasn't too happy in my married life, so I had to leave my husband, and I kept my 5 children with me, and they grown up too, and they were such good children, every one of them. They used to help me out with the housework and everything, and they used to take me with them everywhere they went. Even when they went skiing, we had a big toboggan, and the 2 youngest one would stay with me, and we'd go tobogganing while the others were skiing.
That was nice, huh?
Yes. And
what was your favorite place that you lived in Nashville with your little kids? What was your little house that you had?
on Parkinson Court
Yeah.
there. We had that little house by itself. It was only 3 rooms, but we made out. We had good neighbors, and I had one neighbor that was so good, the big nuts.
Yeah.
And I guess she took care of me she pitied me with my 5 children. But I used to make a garden in there and everything.
Yeah, we show everybody that all your grandchildren that came down when Michael moved, and we showed Cherie and Eric when he came. Everybody, we always show them that little house, and they can't believe you lived in that little house with 6 of you, because 5 kids and you. But everybody takes pictures of that house, and they can't remember. They said, how did she do it? But did you enjoy Nashville at that time in your life?
Yes.
Yeah, and
I sure did.
and on your weekends, who used to do things for you? Used to go swimming with the kids.
Oh yeah, my sister Imelda was very good to us. In fact, I don't know how we would have done it without her. And she found us that little house, and there was no hot water, no bath, but we made it. I used to have a big pan warm up the water on the stove with a great big pan there and give them all their bath.
Wow. People wouldn't be able to believe that, but happy though, huh? Didn't have much
Yeah.
money, but weren't you happy
We
in
were
those days?
happy,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and your good neighbors and everything.
And I'd make that garden, we'd have some fresh vegetables. And one time we had gone to Vermont visiting my sister there, and when we came back, somebody had stole everything from the garden.
Even then? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Oh, my father was so...
Nobody knew who did it? You never found out who did that?
No.
Isn't that off? Might have been kids. Kids must have done it or something. Oh my gosh.
My
After all the
father
hard
was
work.
so mad.
Oh boy.
He says, can you imagine a man take the food
From your table.
from
Oh my gosh.
from our family? But we survived. And then he was, forgot how old he was when I started to get sick with thyroid problem. And I went in the hospital for 2 weeks, and they managed by themselves, and he was the oldest. They used to come and walk, or it was quite a ways to the hospital from that house.
Yeah.
And they used to come and visit me, and they were good kids. I'd never had any problem bringing them up. I never was sorry for anything, and I grew up with them, like.
Yeah. You enjoyed your kids, you had a good time.
I really enjoyed my children.
Yeah.
They used to go skiing when they were teenagers, and I had to go with them because I wanted or not. So with the toboggan, I used to slide with the two youngest ones, Ray and Danny, and then
What was your favorite meal you used to cook with all those kids? What was
spaghetti.
It? Yeah. And even growing up, when I was dating your son, Bob. I mean, we used to. How many people you'd have over there, relatives, and you'd have like 2 tables, spaghetti. Wasn't that great though? It was fun though, huh?
Oh yes.
Yeah. And how old are you now, Grammy?
84.
Yeah. Unbelievable, huh?
I never thought. And when I was small, when I was born, they never thought I would live till 7 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what Lau, my sister, used to tell me. They never thought you'd live past 7 years old. And I fooled them all.
Wow. You never know, huh?
Yeah.
We never know what's in store for us. Yeah.
No,
And how many people are left in your family now?
just one sister and I, from a family of 12 children. But I'm still happy. My health is still pretty good. And I hope I can see more of my grandchildren get married
I
and
know.
enjoy their children. I love children, so it was easier for me. I used to do a lot of babysitting in the neighborhood, so that would help me a little bit.
That's good, yeah. You always had kids around you, huh?
Yeah,
They kept you young, I guess, huh?
that's what they say.
Yeah.
Kids keep you young.
Yeah. So,
And I really enjoyed every year of my kid.
you must have hated to see them grow up
I
and go on
do.
their own, huh?
I do.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nice when you always had fun with the kids.
Yeah. And
So,
we were always in group. And when I remember the first car we got, little black Ford, and we started to go, the six of us on Sunday afternoon. We used to go for a ride. And when the people used to see us come out of the car, they go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people in that little car.
wow.
That was Imelda's car.
Oh.
That's the old Metropolitan there.
Yeah, I don't think I knew the car. I didn't know you then,
No,
but that used to tell me about that. That's great.
there was only one seat, but in the back there was like half a seat there. And Roger and Raymond and Danny used to sit in the back, and Janine and Bob and I in the front.
Oh. And who used to drive it?
Janine.
Yeah, because Janine was the oldest,
Yeah.
and she had her license. Yeah, that's
Oh,
great.
That was, everybody was in paradise when after we had that first car.
Okay.
Well, as time went on, the kids were graduating from school, and they had lots of friends, and they liked to bring their friend home. Why, almost every night we had some of their friends to stay home for dinner with us, and I used to make them a lot, cook big meal for them, and sometimes when they were teenagers, they'd bring their friend after they went out some party or something, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and I'd get up and cook a big batch of spaghetti for them.
Oh
And
my.
they used to love that.
Okay.
Their friend, they used to call me Mom. So I really enjoy my children. And I guess they enjoyed me too, because they used to always stick around the house. I never had to worry about any one of them to get in trouble or nothing. We did things together. I was like this, their big sister. And they used to tell me about their schooling, and they confided in me, and I did in them. I'd always ask them, should we do this, and should we go here or there? And we really had a good time, and I hope they can remember me as being, took care of them as good as I could with what we had, because I couldn't really go to work for a long time, because with 5 little kids, gee, I would have had to pay a babysitter as much as I make. So they started working themselves, and they got the first car, and oh, did we enjoy ourselves. We were so happy. We used to go for those nice drives on Sunday afternoon there. And when the kids, they belonged to everything in school, and I had to go to watch their games all the time. Sometimes I was tired, I didn't feel like going, but they wanted me so bad to go watch them, so I went all the time. I think bringing up a family, children, are really a lot of happiness. And now they all give me grandchildren now. My first child was a daughter, and then I thought I was going to have all girls, because on my family side, they all got so many more girls, like George has 5 girls, only 1 boy. Blanche had 3 girls, only 1 boy. And what's the matter? Didn't have any. Edward had 5 girls and 2 boys. And Danny's got only one boy. And he was married a long time. I thought I'd never have any grandchildren from Danny, but finally after 16 and a half years of marriage, they have a boy. Only 1 boy, his family is, but he's my pride and joy. They were all, I really enjoyed my children, and now I'm enjoying the grandchildren. And I hope everyone can enjoy their children as much as I did. There wouldn't be so much problem in the world if everybody would pay more attention to their children. It's, that's what life is all about. Now I'm way up in age. I'm 84 years old, and I'm still in pretty good health. So I'm still enjoying my children and my grandchildren. And someday I might see the great-grandchildren. It wouldn't surprise me. But from my own family, my mother had 12 children, 6 boys and 6 girls. But now I just got one sister left. She's 4 years older than me, and we live quite far apart. She lives in Florida. We don't see too much of her, but we always call each other, and I went and stayed quite every winter. I'd go spend a month or so with her. And our family was very close, which I'm so proud and happy about that. I wish all the families were as happy as I have been. Because I had lost my mother as a little baby. I was only 17 months old when I lost my mother. I was the baby of the family. But we always been close family, and we visited each other very often. And even if I just got one sister, I hope we can, one sister left, I hope we can enjoy many more years to come. And my children seem to be very happy in their marriage. All except one that wasn't quite so happy, but he's doing okay. And I love all my grandchildren dearly. And they are all good kids. I couldn't say a bad word about any of my grandchildren. They are real nice kids, and I mean it. I don't know what's going to happen now for the rest of my life. I just hope and pray that I'm not a burden to them. I want to stay and still live by myself, my own apartment, and I like them when they come and visit me. I really loved it. I wish I could do more for them, but now it's getting towards the end of my life. There'll be other generation coming up, and with the 4 boys and their family, they sure gonna carry the name. So that's about everything I can think of. Well, maybe now I'll talk about you, my children, and thank you for being good to me. I know you must have missed out of not having a father around, and I felt bad about that, but under the circumstances, we were better off without a father around than maybe her thing that would have been nice for you to hear. I was trying my best to stay with him. I tried it for 10 years, but it wasn't working out, and my health was suffering on account of it. So I was advised that I would be just as good by myself, that I could get the help with
Financial?
financial
Aid.
and aid and with the children, and I did. People been very good to me, including neighbors and all, but most of it, you had to be a real good kid, and I love you all so dearly, every one of you. And after my first child was born, it was a daughter, my daughter Janine. So seeing that on my side of the family, there mostly is a lot more girls than boys. So when Janine was born, I thought she might have all sisters instead of brothers, but I was fooled there because she never had a sister, but she had 4 brothers, and she was a good girl. We were more like sisters than mother and daughter. Every Thursday night in Nashua here, the store open only on Thursday night in those days, and we usually wanted me to go downtown with her. Every Thursday night we'd walk downtown. We didn't have no car then, and the boys would go to their game or something else, and we really enjoy each other. She gave me a lot of support, and I gave her all the support I could. And she stayed with me until she was 22 or 23. Anyway, she got married, and she got 4 kids herself, which I enjoyed a lot because I lived under them for a while. Her husband had built me a little apartment under they owned that house. He built her 2 or 3 houses, and she was lucky to find it. She married that French Canadian. He didn't hardly speak English when he came up, but like me, he learned it. And she is still very happy married. And my second child was a boy, so I was so happy I had a girl and a boy. And he was such a little busy bee. He was such a little worker. He was real young, and we were living in that place where we burned wood. And uh, he could do just as much with his left hand as with his right hand. So he used to chop wood and saw some wood with his left hand. And that neighbor there, Mr. Bignot, he used to have a kick out of that. One time he called his wife and he said, "Come and see that little boy. Look, he's only a little boy and he's helping his mother." And then I had 4 more boys, and they were all good to me. Like Robert was he was like the man of the family. He seen to everything, and you could ask him anything and he would do it. He's still so kind. And he's one reason why he contributed to the happiness of the family, because he acted as the big brother, and nobody could have done more. And then I got the 3rd child. It was another boy, and they were only 11 months difference. So they were like twin. Everybody thought they were twins. And for a while, I used to dress them alike all the time. And everybody thought they were so cute. Because Roger always was bigger than Bob for a while. So they thought they were twins instead of 2 brothers. And I used to go downtown with them, and I used to bring the whole crowd every time I'd go downtown. I'd go with my 5 kids walking with me. But that never bothered me. I was happy to say those are my 5 kids. And Robert was really acting a lot older for his age. And then 11 months after I had my 3rd child, Roger, he was a little handful, but was a very good kid. They minded me so good, and I made up my mind after my marriage broke up. I'm sorry to say, I wish it would have been better, but I did what I could to save it, but it didn't work. But I kept my 5 kids with me, and they repaid me by being kind to me and helping me out in every way they could. Robert started to work real young after school, and they all started to work after school, so they never got into any problem at all whatsoever. I kept them busy, so they didn't have a chance to get into trouble. And I was like a kid myself with them. They used to take me everywhere they went. In fact, sometimes I didn't want to go. And, oh, yes, mother, you're coming with us. You're one of us. And they used to go skiing, and I'd bring the toboggan, and then I'd slide with the two youngest one, and while the three oldest one would ski. And oh, we had a really a good time. And when finally they got old enough to drive, we got a little black Ford, and Janine and Robert got their license. And Sunday afternoon we used to go for a nice drive. And people thought it was so funny that we could jam so many in that my sister's car. It was just a little Metropolitan. I don't know if the people remember those, but it was very in style for a while. And my sister let us use her car. And we really spent our weekend happy. So my kid didn't have time to go bum around with other bad kids or stuff like that. So that was my aim, was to keep him good and honest. And they were. They never let me worry on that part. They were a good kid. And then Roger was born. That's my third child. He was the brain. He was very intelligent. And him and his brother was only 11 months apart. So everybody thought they were twins. I used to dress them alike and for a while. And every one of them did their part to be of some help to the family, to our little family. And then I had 4 boys and just that one girl. And then when Raymond was born, well, for a while I had a hard time with him because he was unlucky. He was sick a lot and had big operation. The poor little kid was only 5 years old. And one time, a whole month he was in the hospital. And I used to have to walk every afternoon to go to the hospital to go see him. He was only 5 years old. And but finally he grew up and made it just as good as his 2 older brothers. And he was a baby for 4 years. I thought that was the end of my family, but then 4 years after Danny was born, we all loved him so much. And he was also a very good kid. They all finished school and graduated and got good jobs. And then Janine got married, the first one. And it was like losing my sister because we were always together. But I'm glad for her. She married a very good boy, very nice man. And He built her 2, 3 houses and did a lot for her. And my older boy, gosh, he was like the man of the family. He always never hesitated to do anything that need to be done, or go get something, go do anything to help the family. And they had got in the Boy Scout, which he made the Eagle Scout, and one time he was sent one summer to Cimarron, New Mexico for a whole month. Out of all the troop, his troop, he was picked the first one, and they sent him to New Mexico for a whole month, all expenses paid. That was something that he was proud of that too. And then Roger was a good boy too. He was, of course, he wasn't quite so lucky in his marriage. He's the only one that his marriage broke up. But he's doing all right now. His health wasn't as good as the rest of them. But it all happened in many families. And then Raymond came after 4 years, and his health wasn't that good. He had quite a few operations, but and he's smaller than the other kid. But he made out good too in school, was a good student. They were all good students. And then I had a rest for 4 years, and the 5th one came. And all his brothers and his sister liked him so much. He was like a doll to them. And maybe we spoiled them a little bit. I didn't think so, but anyway, we finally made it. They all go up to be, how would I say that, model kid. And which I thank the good Lord for that. And now I come and visit them. Every one of them is glad to see me, and are really so good to me that you couldn't ask for a better family. And that's about it. I talk about Ray, and he's married and he has 2 kids. And Danny, the last one, is married too, but he was a long time without having any kid. I didn't think he'd give me any grandchildren. But finally, after he was married for over 16 years, that he had his first child and only child. And now he's 13 years old, and he's a very nice boy too. And I really enjoy all my 5 children. I hope everybody could be as lucky as I was with their children. I want to add that Bob ended married a very nice girl, a great big worker, very good, and they gave me 2 grandchildren, 2 boys, which are doing very good in life too. And one worked with computers, and the other one, what is this Scott doing?
Shipping and receiving.
In receiving.
Shipping and receiving.
And so they have a good career too. And Robert got only 2 boys, and Roger married and had 3 girls. It's all the opposite. And I don't see them as often as I did with the other children because he always lived further away. He lived in Arizona for many years, but he had 3 nice girls too. And Raymond married, he was the oldest one to get married in the family, but he married a nice girl too, and he got 2 boys too. And his boys are doing good too. And finally, Danny got married when he was 21 to a nice girl too. He met her in high school and married when he was 21. And they were a long time without having any children, but they finally did. Got that 1 boy after almost 17 years. And now he's the closest one to me and the only one that's in the grandchildren that's close to me, so I see a lot more of him than I would have loved to see of the others too. But my grandchildren are all very dear to me.
Boy, Grammy, that's wonderful, honey. I just wanted a few things because we're almost near the end of the tape. I was just wondering what you think, what you've seen for changes in this world today from when you were a young girl. What is something that's impressed you the most of this this new age?
So many things is changed today for the better, and some is not quite for the best, but life is changing. New things are coming out all the time, like computers are very popular, which I never thought I would see in my lifetime. And there's still a lot more new things to develop and come up in the years to come that we'll never believe we would see. And I've seen a lot of change in my time from living on a farm, been brought up on a farm, on a big farm, that everyone worked hard to do their share and help them. We had a big farm, and we had about 30 cows and 8 horses at one time, and we had to make big garden, and I did a lot of weeding, which wasn't my best things to do, but we all had to do our share, and we did it, and we had good parents, and that really paid attention to us children and did what they could to help us. We were not rich, but with the farm and all growing all our own vegetables and everything. We never gone without food or nothing. And my parents seen to that everybody ate good and was well dressed.
Grammy, what was some of your best jobs that you had? What was something that really stands out that you liked the best of all your jobs that you did?
Well, really, everywhere I work, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed every job I had. But I was uh, just about 18 when I started working in the mill. And gosh, that was really some accomplishment that has been with everything they did in those mills. It's too bad they had to close, but something else came up, and for the best, a lot more science to it, and it really changed the world. And
You like working in the school? I thought you
I worked in the school for a while, and as teacher's helper, and I really enjoyed that. I was working in the class where they had some disabled children, and we had to teach them how to read, and all those kids were so polite. They really respect you, and I really enjoyed working with those kids. There was a lot of Spanish kids, which are extremely polite, those kids. They really respect their elders, and which, I thought that was so nice and appreciable.
Now, what about one of the nicest things that you ever in your life? What is something that meant a lot to you that you've done? That you had something that you
one
really.
time I used to go to that group of older people there, and every week they used to do something special for us, bring us somewhere or do things. And one of the best things I'll never forget, they gave us ride in a balloon, and I really went up in the balloon, rode all on top of Nashua here. You could see the whole city.
I think it was Colorado, though. It was in Colorado, not Nashville.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
right. But it was so peaceful to be up there. You wouldn't believe how it make you feel to be way up there. And that's something I'll never forget. It did something to me to appreciate everything more. And there was lots of changes that I've seen in my life. And my father used to tell me that. You wait and see. The world is going to be changed by the time you're an adult and an older person. And you tell that to your children and your grandchildren, and let them know what this world is right now and what it's going to become in the years to come. Now, children, I want to leave something to remember me by. I hope you enjoy hearing it. I wish there was more I could have done, but in my circumstance, there's I tried, and I hope you appreciate it like I appreciated all of you. Thank you for being my children.
This was Grammy Michaud's nice little message did on September 1st, 1999 in Nashville, New Hampshire on her visit here with Eric and Kristen. They were kind enough to bring her on this nice trip, and she claims it's going to be her last trip, but we never know. And I hope you guys all enjoyed this nice tape. I thought it'd be a nice remembrance for you all, and I thought I appreciated doing it with her. Bye.